Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, How to Easily Acquire and Retain More Customers Using Data You Already Have. Whoa, with Abhinav. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for joining us. Quick thanks to Branded Strategic Hospitality for helping you promote and book this webinar. And thank you to Gallery Design Studio for making the following presentation look awesome. I am super excited about this. Today, you are going to learn three major things. Okay, where to find your guest data. You already have it, you're just not looking for it. You're gonna know what to do with that guest data, and you're gonna know how using it is good for your business. Please allow me to formally introduce Abhinav Kapur. Hey buddy, thanks again for joining us.
Of course, thank you for having me.
You're welcome, great you're here. He is the co-founder and CEO of Bikky. Now Bikky is a data-driven marketing platform for restaurants, and his mission at Bikky is to help restaurants use data to build more authentic, profitable relationships with their guests at a time when the business is rapidly shifting beyond their four walls. His inspiration for Bikky came while doing deliveries for his parents' restaurant in New York City. That's usually where the best ideas come from, is right when you're in the middle of things. Now, quick about this. Look, we created this webinar series to hopefully inspire you for things you could do to transform your restaurant in the middle of what's happening with the coronavirus. We're all sort of locked inside. You're inside, I'm inside. Everybody watching this inside, but we're coming out, right? We're coming out of our doors soon. In the meantime, we're ordering food, we're cooking food, and we're looking forward to being in restaurants again. So hopefully you get some inspiration, some things you can do to help transform your business for in the time being and when we're done with this. If you don't know me, my name is Rev Ciancio. Hi, I'm a hospitality marketing consultant. I help restaurants to raise awareness, acquire, and retain customers through digital marketing, social media, and the use of incredible software. And if you have watched all 9 of these that were recorded, you've heard this joke 9 times.
I'm number 9.
This is 9. My personal magic wand is pizza. Now, I have more than 20 years in experience in branding, digital marketing, and hospitality. I've worked with literally hundreds of restaurants to help them attract and retain customers. Now, a lot of people know me as a restaurant and hospitality marketing influencer. In fact, if you found out about this through Instagram, you already know that I have a lot of followers and a lot of gratuitous food photos to share with you. I also used to own a bar in New York City, so I know exactly how hard it is to market
I remember
a restaurant and a brand location business. So we've been in the middle of it. But today we are here to talk to you about how to access and start using customer data you already have. And with that, Abhinav, I'm going to throw the presentation over to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rev. Thank you again for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and happy to share what Bikky does and how the audience can get started even without Bikky, right? I mean, the biggest problem, I think people think of data as a dirty 4-letter word in the restaurant industry. Restaurants have been operationally intensive for so long, and you're always on the go. I see it with my parents' restaurant all the time. There's a million fires you're putting out at once. You're trying to deliver orders on time, and it's hard to step back and actually take stock of the business. And so the biggest problems that we see around data is, you're a restaurant operator. You're great at making food. You're great at delivering a great customer experience, but you're not great, and this is in increasing difficulty, you're not great at collecting data. Right? Where is it? How do I find it? How do I put it together? Second, you're not good at analyzing it, right? We hear this from restaurants all the time. Okay, great. I have this data. Now, what exactly do I do with it? And finally, restaurants aren't great at acting on it, right? Even if you have the time and you are good enough at Excel to come up with permutations of what it actually means and what all your order data means for your customers, you don't have the team, the time, the resources to actually implement some of the things you've learned. These are common things that we've seen across restaurants that are 1 location to 100 locations. Just restaurants are not data savvy businesses. And there's nothing wrong with that, because data until now hasn't been the bread and butter of hospitality. And as I said, it doesn't matter the size. It's true across the spectrum, right? These are 3 separate quotes of businesses of different sizes. The head of strategy and analytics of a 500 location pizza chain. Right, think about that. They have 500 locations. And I was on the phone with him a couple months ago, and he says, look, I know what's happening, meaning I can tell when sales are going up and down in a market, but I can't say why or what to do with it, right? Second one, a CEO at a 20 location fast casual burrito chain who's a Bikky customer, data is BS until you tell me exactly what to do with it. Again, it's not your strong suit. And finally, my mom, I have time for my food and my guests, not charts. And Mom, I hear you 100%. You don't have time for charts. You just have time for me to tell you what you need to do with the data. And again, the focus as an operator, as a restaurateur, should be on providing a high quality guest experience so that a customer keeps coming back for more.
Well, if anything, at the end of this webinar, your mother can rest easy knowing that she has the same problems as a head of strategy for a 500 location.
I keep telling her, I keep telling her that, and she's like, fine. It's finally, she goes, fine, then do something with it. So some of the things I'm going to show you here are things that we're actually doing for my parents' restaurant, and they are proven to work. Now, again, let's go back to problem number one: collecting data. Right? Even if you want to get started with data, a lot of operators, they just don't know where to look. They think that they need some outside service, somebody to tell them how to find data, someone to do the digging for them. When in actuality, just take a look at the screen right now. I mean, do any of these systems look familiar? There is actionable, valuable customer data lurking in each of these systems. Right? If someone orders direct from you on ChowNow or Lunchbox, or they download your app through Level Up, or if they make a reservation through OpenTable or Resy, if they have swiped their credit card with you and you have Toast or Square as a POS, and this is not exclusionary, right? Clover, Brink, all of these different systems, point of sales, reservation systems, Wi-Fi, like ZenReach, they all have data that is already sitting within your organization that is actionable and it's ready to be used. All you need to do in most cases is go to the settings screen and download it. That's really all it is. It's just downloading in a simple Excel file of data. Now the question turns to, fine, like, okay, I can access the data that's already sitting there, but what do I do with that now, right? How do I engage customers? You know, there's a lot of, everybody looks at what Sweetgreen is doing, and understandably, they do a wonderful job and they set the bar very high, as they should, because they've raised a lot of money, they have a great brand, and they're not shy about communicating their values and ethos to their customers. But they're doing the same thing. They're taking a list of everyone who's downloaded their app from Level Up. They're loading their email addresses into MailChimp, and they're basically just sending emails that talk about why they're in business, what they believe in, how they make their food, how they source their ingredients. You know, like we think about coronavirus in this time when a lot of businesses are understandably struggling. This is an unprecedented time in the industry, but if you're sitting at home, now is the time actually when your customers want to hear from you, right? If there's one thing that a brand like Sweetgreen has tapped into, that is sort of paving the way, it's that people nowadays, they want to feel like they're a part of something. Go on Instagram, go on Twitter, people talking about saving local restaurants, helping local businesses, helping the local nail salons and barbershops, buying gift cards for these small businesses. People today vote with their dollars, and they want to feel like they're part of a movement or part of just helping somebody that made them feel good with a special meal on a rainy Tuesday night. And so when you think about the right way to start using, you know, the email addresses that you're downloading from your Resy or your OpenTable system, or the email addresses that you're pulling from Level Up or from Square, talk about that. Talk about a recipe, right? Take your signature dish and just write down the recipe and blast it out to people, because when they're sitting at home, especially now more than ever, now's the time where they want to still feel like they have connection to you, because you are a symbol of the outside world and how things used to be when the times were good. So you already have the content. It's just your story. It's just who you are as a person. All you have to do is marry that with the email addresses that are already lurking within these different systems that I showed you before. Now at Bikky, we do things are a little more sophisticated than that. We've built a way to basically pull in all that data from those various systems in real time and push it to email for you to trigger sophisticated marketing campaigns, or pushing it to text message, or pushing it to social media. So not surprisingly, you know, that level of sophistication comes with better results than just, you know, sending out emails. Not that those, you know, standalone communications about who you are and what your restaurant does aren't impactful, but the sophistication adds a little bit more on top of ROI. So this is an example of one of our best customers, Gregory's Coffee, over 30 locations across New York and DC. They were running a traditional lapsed guest campaign through their loyalty app. And by that, I mean every time it would be 30 days since someone's last visit, that customer would get a ping and say, I miss you, here's a $2 discount, please come back. Now,
I am, by the way, I am one of those customers.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, that's how I used to sell to them. I was like, why do you keep discounting to me? I visit your brand once a month. Why are you still discounting to me when you know I'm already going to come back once a month?
I went to Gregory so often, and I don't know, for people who don't have the app or aren't users, you can put their QR code in your Apple Wallet like you would a reservation for an airplane or a
Yep,
concert ticket. And I put that on my home screen so I could just flip it up when I
that's it.
walked in. Like
That's it.
that is how frequent. And I still got all those crazy messages. You're right.
Yep, yep. And I mean, like, I'm ordering a maple latte, like a large maple latte, once every 3 to 4 weeks. So it's like they got me hooked on that. But so they were running that traditional lapsed guest campaign. And they made good money. I'm not going to say it didn't work. They made good money in 5.5 years. We added a bit of sophistication where instead of discounting to everybody who it's been 30 days since their last visit, we launched a content-driven drip campaign. Here's Greg, who he is, what he stands for, his values, how he sources ingredients, highlighting different menu items. And only by the end of the campaign, for guests who haven't ordered, did we send a discount, right? So it was an 8 email sequence over 40 days. And if someone didn't order by email number 8, boom, they get the discount. And we made more money for them in 60 days than they did in 5.5 years on that traditional discount-based marketing campaign, which I think reinforces, again, some of it is the sophistication, but a lot of it just comes from Greg telling his story and why he got into business in the first place, tapping into that affinity that his customers have for his brand and his product, and frankly, just doing a great job of messaging how important their business is to them and how crucial it is to helping them stay in business. We partner with about 20 different brands, mostly across New York and Chicago. There's a lot of good logos on the screen, but one thing that I'm proud to say is that the ROI that they typically see after launching with us is 3 to 4 times better, meaning they're making 3 to 4 times more revenue on their marketing campaigns than they were prior to starting with Bikky. Again, part of that is not discounting to everybody. And I think the other part of it is just proactively engaging guests based on the story that every brand has to tell about who they are and what they stand for.
Well, before you slop into this next piece here,
yeah.
I just want to say this. Like, I've worked in software and tech for a long time, and I've worked for some very large, sophisticated brands. And the work that you're doing here, the thing that you've created for, growing small restaurants is exactly the type of software that like very large companies are using. This is taking Salesforce and HubSpot and a number of other very sophisticated tech-oriented solutions and making them like democratized and easy for a small restaurant, growing restaurant who doesn't have sophisticated, 6-figure marketers that went to whatever smarties pants school and spent all night watching YouTube videos. Like, you're essentially taking that and democratizing it for a restaurant to essentially have like push button segmentation solutions to re-engage somebody who already loves the brand.
That's right. That's the key. That's the key. That's the key. They already love you. They haven't been back in a little bit. And instead of, the way we term it is like the term is customer relationship. Most brands, and even this is true of large brands, most brands treat their guests like customers. They appeal to them in terms of dollars and cents, right? Everything is, I miss you, here's a discount. If you're going to treat me like a customer, then I'll act like a customer. But the best brands focus on the relationship piece, right? They don't focus on the customer piece. They focus on the relationship piece. And they acknowledge that I'm a human being and that I probably order direct from you because I like your maple latte from Gregory's, or I like what you stand for and your values, or I like the vibe of your brand, like Dos Toros, which is a very, interesting and trendy brand from a social standpoint as well. And so they engage me as a customer, or they engage me as a guest based on terms that I can understand as a person, not just like through appealing to my wallet. And I think that's the big thing that, and again, I obviously, if you watch this, I hope you get interested in Bikky, but you don't need to have Bikky to do that, because the emails are already sitting in your different systems. You just got to tell your story. That's really what I want to emphasize. Use the data you already have to build authentic relationships with your guests, and it will translate into revenue because they will respond to you. They will tell you how much they love your brand, and they will come back. And that is verified in the data that we have seen. Finally, again, jumping off that, not to not sell myself at all, but
That's what these are for.
yeah, if you are interested in Bikky, especially given the challenging times, we're offering 60 days free until this crisis is over. So if you watch this a week from now, a month from now, 2 months from now, and we're still not out of the woods, which knock on wood, hopefully we are by then. But if we're not, it's 60 days free from the time you come to us. We will help you do exactly what I said. We will help you aggregate all of your data from those different channels, not just one, but multiple channels. We'll help you find it. We'll help you aggregate it so that you can see it. You can understand who your guests are, who's ordering, what they're ordering, how frequently they're ordering, through which channels. And most importantly, we'll help you use that data. We'll help you get these campaigns up and running so that you can take part in that democratization that, as Rev so nicely put it. And more importantly, you can measure the revenue impact. Like for us, ROI is everything. It comes down, data is BS, as one of our customers said. Data is BS until you do something, until you know what to do with it. And even if you know what to do with it, it's still BS unless it's actually generating real dollars for you. Restaurants are in probably the toughest position they've ever been in. And so assessing the top line and bottom line impact is the most important thing. And at Bikky, that, being the child of restaurant operators, at Bikky, that is our number one priority, is help use software, use data to build great relationships with your guests and also make you money.
Awesome. So assuming people want to learn more about this and get in contact with you, I mean, in 60 days free, I mean, how do you say no, right? Especially think about it this way, right? On the other side of the impact of the coronavirus, right, we'll have transformed, right? Actually, the only bad thing that could happen is if we don't transform, right? But right now, restaurants essentially don't have dining rooms. So the only way you can, you have to be in somebody else's dining room to have that customer experience. And so it has to make you rethink, what is your business model, right? Yep. What is your customer touch point? What is the journey you put your customer through? And so, if I'm a restaurateur and I'm watching this webinar, of course I'm going to say this, but like, I would call you or I guess email you. So.
No, that's a great point. No, that's a great point, because look, like Yelp has been a driver of business for so long for restaurants. I'm sorry to say, but Yelp doesn't matter right now. No one's looking at ratings and reviews to walk into a place. OpenTable doesn't matter right now. Google Maps, to a certain extent, doesn't matter right now. The things that matter and the things that you can control are how your customers perceive you when they're never setting foot in your store, because they're not going to be able to for this foreseeable future. So if you can take advantage of data you already have and just, again, tell your story. That's it. That's all it comes out to. Tell your story. You will be in a much better position than I guess a lot of other brands out there. So.
Awesome. Well, this is great. I'm really glad we got the chance to do this. Thank you so much. I know you guys are super busy with some other stuff going on and, a couple of kids and moving between parents' houses. So thank you. For everybody that's watching today, if you really, really liked what you learned, we're saying smash the like button. If you want to share a comment, please, we encourage comments. If you think this is really awesome, or a restaurant operator that could benefit, please hit the share button and share this webinar. We'd really, really appreciate that. Help get that out there. And again, if you really enjoyed this conversation and you want to be involved in more conversations like this, we have a Facebook group. It's free. We don't really restrict who enters there. We ask that you be a restaurant operator or executive. We talk about topics like this. You can get your questions answered. We do some coaching, hospitality marketing, tech success. It's run by me and inspirational thought leader, John Mark Shaw. He and I have a podcast you can check out. It's really great. Just go to bit.ly/restmast. Again, that's bit.ly/RESTMAST. That's short for Restaurant Executive Mastery. Again, it's a free Facebook group, bit.ly/restmast, RESTMAST. You can join the group right there. And let's bring this bird in. I want to give some likes and thanks to Branded Strategic Hospitality. I've said this on all the webinars so far, but they're a tech accelerator, right? They have relationships with restaurants, with tech companies, with some unique and emerging concepts, and they bring that all together to help brands and restaurants be more successful. So check out what they're doing. We also want to give some thanks to Gallery Design Studio. They're a B2B creative suite. I've used them for years. They're amazing. They created this webinar that you've seen. They do field design. They do websites. They do editing. They're awesome. And lastly, Abhinav, I want to thank you, man, and thank you for being so inspirational. And thank you for Bikky. We appreciate you sharing this topic. If you're watching, you have questions for me, you want to talk, just DM me right here on LinkedIn. You can hit me on any social network at Rev Ciancio, or you're welcome to email me, therev@yeahmanagement.com. I want to thank you for tuning in today. Hopefully you found this insightful and you're thinking of new ways to master success in your restaurant business. Again, if you really like what you heard, you're going to smash that like button, make a comment, and share it. Guys, thank you, and make it a great tasty day. Thank you.
Thank you.